Shalom, shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Bahasham Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great book story, and salutations to all you sincere King. This is your brother Abawan back again with another video. This is the book of John 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. And this is, of course, we know who the thief is, Esau Edom. And the precept that I really wanted to focus on was the first part. But as the scriptures say, the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai is a God of balance, right? A just weight is the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai's delight. So once again, John 10 verse 10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. And once again, the thief here represents Esau Edom, the so-called red man that is ruling over the earth today. And recently, over the past few months, I've been really going into a deep dive on the history of our people, most especially the history of the southern kingdom in Babylon the Great, and the history of Jake here in Nigeria as well. And when you go into the history and see all the evil, all the evil that Esau Edom has done to our people, when you see all the wickedness that he has committed against our people, his crimes against our people, then you realize this devil has a lot to pay for. And the title of this video will be something along those lines: the historic oppression of our people, going back all the way to just the transatlantic slave trade, not even talking about the Roman Empire or the Roman captivity, right? 70 AD, or even going back all the way to Babylon, the Neo-Babylonian Empire with Nebuchadnezzar, when Esau Edom was actively stalking our people. Let me get that precept. Let me get that precept. Just to show you what I'm talking about, because these devils truly, truly have a lot to pay for. And I think there's another one in the book of Hosea or so. Let me start from here. I've forgotten the exact place. Psalms 130 something. I think it's oh yeah, it is Psalms 137. Okay. Psalms 137 verse 7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof, O daughter of Babylon. Because when we talk about the modern day Babylon, okay, not speaking about the ancient Babylonian Empire, but the modern day Babylonian Empire, which is this current beast system that we are living under, the system and the government of Esau Edom. So now once again, Psalm 137 verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. And that is right, because that is the other part, the other aspect of this video, in which you devils have a lot to pay for. And it is going to be a privilege, right? Let's get that as well. It is going to be a privilege, an honor given to the most from the most Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, to be able to bring payments back, or be able to pay you Edomites and you devils back for all the evil that you have done to us. So this is the book of Psalms 149 verse 7, to execute judgment upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. Because everybody is going to want to have put hands on Esau Edom on that day, especially for the wickedness they have done for against our people. And the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to reward you for that. And we see that even all the way from back to as far away as long ago as the Babylonian Empire, Esau Edom has been targeting and showing his wickedness, showing his horns against our people. So let me also get this: for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4. Let's get that. Okay, the book of Amos. I thought I was going to be the book of Hosea. Let me see if I can find the exact one I'm looking for. That's not it. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. So this is the book of Amos 1 verse 11. Thus saith Yahweh, for three transgressions of Edom, and for four, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the places of Bozrah. And the reason for this is because, as you know, during the fall of Jerusalem, right, when the first temple was sacked and destroyed by the Babylonians by Nebuchadnezzar, he saw Edom were the ones that actually destroyed the temple, which is why we go back to the book of Psalms 137. It says, remember the daughter of Edom in the day of our captivity that said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. That was Esau Edom. Sorry, not the daughter of Edom, but just Edom. That was because it was Esau Edom that was taking down the temple. Or was basically, hyping up the Babylonians, right? And they did those Hamites when they took our people down and joined them in hunting down our people and destroying us. Because as the script, even the scriptures tell you that they cast off the brotherly covenant because of the hate that these devils have against our people. But there's also one more piece that I want to try and see what I can find. That it actually goes into this in more detail. I can't remember exactly where it is. But let me just I can't remember exactly where it is. But let me just get this one as well, okay? Because even the oppression of our people by the hand of Esau, Edom, and of course our people have been oppressed all around by all the nations, not just Esau, Edom, but Moab, Ham, Ishmael, so on and so forth. And you can read about that in the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, and so many other precepts go into it. But right now, our main focus is Esau, Edom, because he is the one that is ruling over the earth right now. He is the one that is in control of the whole world right now. And of course, he is the main adversary, the main enemy against our people. And he is the wicked. You can read about all of that. That's Malachi 1 verse 4. And I think I'll get that precept as well. But let's focus on this first. Moreover, and this is the book of Ezekiel 35 verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the one Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and I shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Alawan Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And the Most High is already, preparing judgments for Esau Edom, for this legacy of hatred and oppression that he has put upon our people. It's not, like I said, not just from Babylon all the way to Greece, all the way to Rome, or even going on to this modern day. Because you can't forget, we talk about you hear about the oppression of our people at the hands of the so-called white people, right? Oh well, this is what they did to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians from 1660. No, that's wrong. It's not from 1660 something. It's been all throughout history, okay, all the way going back to the Babylonian Empire, okay, all the way going back to Nebuchadnezzar. That was around 700 or so BC, and it's been going on since then. We know about the oppression of our people faced during the Greek Empire by way of the Seleucids, right? You can read about all of that in the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees and Second Maccabees, how they tortured and murdered our people and forced our people to, you know, abandon their heritage, abandon their nationality, and and the heritage of following the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahweh and take the the Greekish ways at the punishment, using basically death penalty at the risk of death. I think that's the best way to put it, which is why John 10 verse 10, but the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. In other words, rape, robbery, and murder. Okay, that is what the modus operandi, the MO of these devils. They can only destroy, they can only take, they can only spoil, which is why the scriptures say that because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. And that is exactly how Esau Edom got his power, and all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Because now everybody on the earth is now starting to understand and see that the way in which Esau got his power, he didn't get it fair and square. He didn't get it because he's the wise people, the people that have brought civilization to the whole world, that have been at the top or the perfection of beauty or in the whole world for all throughout history. That is not how Esau Edom got his power. How he got it was through rape, robbery, and murder, by destroying all people, by basically deceit and destroying all people and taking their culture, and taking their culture and using their own customs and ways and make himself look more enlightened, which is why you see that this modern day, Edomite empire, right, is based off all the traditions and the practices in it, is based off so many other different empires. It goes back to Egypt, it goes back to Babylon, it goes back to Sodom, it goes back to Greece, it goes back to Rome, which mainly most of the customs that go back to Greece ultimately go back to Egypt. So it's all still the same thing, which is why we call this place modern day Egypt, because Brown, right? I've forgotten his name, but basically, I don't want to call him Kwas Brown, but Dr. Michael Brown, yes, he claims that America cannot be called modern day Egypt because it's, I've forgotten the exact justification he used, but it was obviously something that made no sense. But what they will say is that, well, how can America be modern day Egypt? There's no connection to Egypt. But what people don't realize is that majority of the customs of the Greek Empire, a lot of the things that the Greeks got a lot of their customs from the Egyptians. They stole a lot of their practices and customs from the Egyptians. They learned, yeah, not exactly, I don't know use learned, but they stole it because that's exactly what they did. And Herodotus, I believe Homer as well, various Greek philosophers and historians talk about this. And we know that this kingdom is the revised Roman Empire, the revised Roman Empire. And I say Rome because Rome ultimately copied its culture from the Greeks. So you see, it's just a game of telephone that Esau Edom is playing, with one culture being more base and low than the other, which is why in this modern day we say that this is the revised Roman Empire. Or we can call this place Egypt, we can call this place Sodom, we can call this place Babylon, because it takes, because it has all the aspects and practices and characteristics of all these different kingdoms. Okay, and it all came together in order to form this wicked place. But now back to what we were saying. And this was what we were saying. Okay, I've already read all these parts. Okay. I think I already read that Ecclesiasticus 10 verse 8. And I can't remember if I've actually read this, so let me just go into it again. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And when you go into the history of how Esau got his power, it was by making treaties, right? Covenants, peace treaties, and breaking them. Like I said, I've been going through the history, I've been listening and watching everything. And now when you actually know your history, when you actually know what happened in the past, you realize just how insidious criminal these devils truly are. All the crimes that they committed against our people, and they haven't even gotten to the transatlantic slave trade. They haven't even gotten into even that whole can of worms. We are only talking about the Babylonian Empire to the Greek and Roman Empire, and it shows you just everything I'm talking about right now is focused on those two. Okay, when we go into the transatlantic slave trade, that's when you now see that these devils are so evil, man. Completely off base. That's why the scriptures tell you that the wicked are that. Let's get that. Let's start from there. The wicked, and we know that who Esau Edom is, because I was just watching the Apostle Gabal's video, and he was going to the same thing, that we know who the wicked are. The wicked is Esau Edom, because if you go into so many precepts in the scriptures, it gives you that information. That when the scriptures talk about the wicked, it's a code word for Esau Edom. Psalms 58 verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So now let me go to the book of Malachi 1. And I want to, let me just go to the book of Malachi 1. So this is the book of Malachi 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. Okay. And in this kingdom right now, it is not known that the Most High hath indignation against Esau Edom forever, but the Hebrew Israelites are making it known. But you see people like Dr. Michael Brown, people like Boca Malone, and all these Christians will come out and say, well, God doesn't actually hate Esau, but really. Well, then we are the Edomites today. Well, Esau Edom is done away with, they were destroyed. And that's his silence that you just, heard. That silence that you didn't hear anything. Is me trying to understand the logic here. So, according to Wakitake Plantation Christians, the Most High does not hate Esau Edom, but according to them as well, he has been done away with as a group, as a people, even though they still exist to this day. You know, but basically, what he's saying, that Esau Edom was destroyed by, I believe they were destroyed during, I can't remember the exact captivity though. I can't remember when Bukab said that they were done away with. I can't remember when that actually was. I think it was one of the recorded massacres of Esau in the scriptures. I can't remember the exact one. I forget it was during the time of John Hyrcanus or so. But we know that Esau Edom exists today, okay? And he is the wicked which the Bible speaks of. And we know as well, if you just read a chapter up from Malachi 1, verse 2 and 3, you will see that the Most High has already declared that he hates Esau Edom, the so called red man that is ruling over the earth today. And now I'm talking about the whole family of Esau Edom. And we can also prove that as well, that it is the whole family that the Most High, Yahweh Hashem is against, not just one individual, or oh well, and that's another bailout that Easter Edom uses. There are all kinds of people, basically trying to find a righteous Edomite, but we know what the scriptures say, and the apostle Gabar even brought this out as well in his precepts. I'm going to bring it out as well, but let me start from here. Malachi 2 verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. We still haven't gotten into the transatlantic slave trade, because all these things were still happening even to our people even before the transatlantic slave trade. You all remember 70 AD, right? Basically, these devils chased away our people out of the Holy Land, the ones that survived the destruction and the genocide at least. And then, the scriptures say the land became inhabited by the Gentiles. But also, even before that, you had a decree by Claudius, I believe it was Claudius or Augustus, basically that Christians, right, which was Jake, people during the time, and even the scriptures talk about this in the book of Acts, they were not allowed to preach anymore in Rome because because our people were speaking against. And why was that the case? Because even during that time, our people were speaking against this wicked kingdom, speaking against Esau Edom, prophesying the same way that we are right now. And because of that, these and because of that, these devils banned us from speaking in the streets or from going out on the highways and byways. But that's just how Esau Edom is. They are against adverse to the words of the Most High, however, Hashem Yahshai, which is why in the book of Hebrews it tells you that Esau Edom is a profane man. Okay, in other words, outside the temple, and he cannot come into the temple. They cannot come into this truth, or they cannot receive any understanding from the Most High. Which is why the scriptures also says that though favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and he will not behold the face of the Most High. In other words, these devils will be wicked no matter how much you beat the law into them. So now continue on. Micah 2 verse 3, and this is the point I'm trying to get. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family, okay, not one person, but the entire family. And what family is that? The family of Esau, Edom, the house of Esau. Do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. And the reason for that is because you had gone and oppressed and touched the apple of the Most High Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh's eye. And we go back to Ezekiel 35 for that. Ezekiel 35 for that, because of the oppression and the hatred and chasing down our people with the sword. Okay, and this is how he saw them operate. The hatred that he has for our people, the hatred these devils have for you Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians is a historical. Okay, that's why we're going down the line through all the things that have happened in history. It's historical hatred. Okay, not just limited to one period in history, okay, but all throughout history, we are seeing examples of this hatred against our people, this evil against our people, and starting from the the captivity, the captivity of the Northern Kingdom in the Americas when they put the so-called the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Latinos in captivity and started and this pioneered the slave trade with them. Okay, because you have to remember when Christopher Columbus landed in the Americas, he put God, right, the Northern Kingdom in captivity as well. He also did the same thing with the Latinos, which is the other part of the Northern Kingdom. Okay, so this is not just so, and then of course going on down into the transatlantic slave trade with the Southern Kingdom in the west coast of Africa, and what is the reason why the Southern Kingdom of the nation of Israel was in the west coast of Africa? Because that was where we were forced to take refuge at after the events of 70 AD, after the fall of Masada, which was done once again by Esau Edom. Okay, so once again, these devils have shown, you know, you are seeing that you're seeing all the captivity that were being under, all the suffering and all the evils that we have faced under them, right? And the transatlantic slave trade, man, is just like an icing on the cake because that really shows just how demonic, just how devilish, just how evil these people can really be, man. Because if you go into, like I said, if you go into the history and if you read the documents and listen to all the things that happened during that time, let me get this piece first and foremost because I was trying to remember, because I was trying to remember, but I said that I would go to a preset. I was trying to remember what it was, and this is the one that I was thinking about. There where it says, "What shall let me see, let me try and get that. I think it's either statutes or covenants in my mouth. The apostle, the Bible brought this out. I think that was in the book of Isaiah. Hold on, I think I have it here. It should be in the book of Isaiah also. I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember the exact precept. Okay, Psalms 50, so like, yeah, Psalms 50. Yeah, it is Psalm 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee? When thou sawest a thief, thou consentedst with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And this is, of course, once again speaking of Esau Edom, because it starts with calling them the wicked. Okay, and once you've already established that the wicked is Esau Edom, so even the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is watching the evil that Esau Edom has done, and he's about to bring his indignation and his judgment upon these devils. Because right now, Esau Edom thinks that because they've put hell on our people, they've put Jake in captivity, and they didn't have to pay for it. There is no, get back. There's no payback. There's no recompense for all the captivity, all the evil that Esau Edom has done for us. They think that they've, basically escaped their judgments. What you don't understand is that the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is patient, and so are his men, right? And you know that ultimately the judgment of the Lord, the judgment of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will come upon you devils for all the evil that you have done upon all of our people. And we have, of course, the records of all the evils and all the wickedness, are readily available. So we know exactly everything that these devils have done. We know exactly what Esau has done to our people all throughout our captivities, all throughout history. And we know, so with that, I'll end the video right there. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Bahasham Rakah Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit, help you actually your path are edified. Shalom.